Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Now, as I was in here shuffling, my son came in randomly and asked, Mom, what's that slave song again? From something that we had watched on YouTube that was actually a joke, but it was a YouTuber singing, Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. And wouldn't you know it, that I stopped shuffling here on this crossover card, where you're crossing over Six of Swords from chaotic and turbulent waters and over into peaceful shores. I always call this my crossover card. And of course, if you know the history of that song, that was one of the Negro spirituals that the slaves would sing to signal to others that it was going to be time to make the escape to freedom in one way, shape, or form. All right. So I just thought that today's spirit has been speaking by in all types of ways, by my tea bags, by random rock songs, and I even used my son's sight word cards that were really, definitely channeling through. So I'm taking messages however they're coming, especially through my son, because they often do come through him. So let's see how the spirit might expound on that. What crossover moments are we in expectation for? Can we expect the end of cycles of betrayal and deception and they say everything is fine. So how about I just lead with that? It's always hard for me to say that with the Ten of Swords, because if you really look at the Ten of Swords, does it look like everything is fine with that guy? No way. But it's because it's the end of a turbulent cycle, almost as we said, that Six of Swords energy, where you're moving from some chaotic existence into something that's more peaceful and vital and fortifying. So perhaps that is what we're leaving behind. All right, let's see what else we got. We got the Six of Wands, which is about, I'm going to try to do a little pyramid action here. I've been trying to switch it up for you guys. I hope you appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm drinking some amazing tea over here. Strength card underneath. Yes, with all your might, protect your energy. Once you have escaped, or even these have overcome these experiences, that maybe have had you flat on your face. Maybe you've betrayed yourself in some way, shape, or form, but it's been much more of an external revelation of betrayal and hidden enemies and things that, just have not been working in your best interest, or at least didn't mean to, but ultimately they were working for your highest good. It's the end of that impact and the diabolical impression that those energies have made, whether it be in a mental and psychological sense, or an actual physical material sense. This is representing all of those energies in one. And you're being encouraged to continue to stand your ground, protect your passion, be in strength and encouraged with all that you do, now that you have established some position of independence, or just self-assurance, in one way, shape, or form. There may be energies that want to come and disturb that assurance, disturb that confidence, corrupt that courage, in some way, shape, or form. You get to stand your ground knowing that you hold the power of creativity in your hand with that wand energy that is above all else. You know, it's your word against, it's you against the world if it needs to be. Of course, it's not in actuality, because everything is fine and nobody is that much of a target, really and truly. But even if you feel that it is, even if the world is projecting to you, your outside world is projecting to you that you are standing alone, and it is you against, you know, others, and you're having to kind of fight your way. Well, first of all, let me say that you don't have to fight. You don't have to do anything, because everything is fine. All you have to do is stand your ground in the strength that it took you to overcome this position. You need no more strength than what you use to overcome here, than what it takes to just be assured of who you are, of what you're capable of, and of what you deserve in spirit and in truth. Let's see what else we got. I like it. This is crossover moments in spirit and in truth. Yeah, because, okay. Because maybe we're not doing a pyramid, because I kind of want to get all these in together. All right, so let's see here. We got, and then that came back out. No way. All right, so what's this saying here, Spirit? We got standing your ground against demonic forces, which are internal and external, but more internal than they are external. Remember that much. And wait a minute here. Putting to death. I'm seeing this in two different ways now. I'm seeing this two different perspectives. I want to stay on the vibe that I'm on, that's speaking more affirmatively in the high vibration, but I'm seeing this as like a projection of a reality in a very diabolical way, of someone that did too much and now is having to defend himself against low vibrational demonic forces, and is facing his mortality. And it doesn't have to be a he, but this is masculine energy as it is here, facing his mortality for actions made, for ways that perhaps stand in his ground against what would have been better judgment, I'm seeing in this case. And that being a crossover moment, or missing an opportunity, having fallen short and expired before gaining the opportunity to cross over, as in here with this Hangman card, being stuck in this world of, you know, mortality ultimately, and like hell on earth. Damn. Let me take a sip of my tea. Shit. Now, what I was going to say in the higher vibration is, and see, here is bringing me back to it, like you stop short here while others are moving ahead and crossing over. It's like almost being a left behind energy. Damn. Let me see what's on the next row, because that's wow. That just, it was like spirit just like shut me up mid-sentence, like, oh, hold on. This is a lot. I said that 5 was my limit. This is 6. That's too much. It was looking interesting though. But let's see what else we got. What was I gonna say? Damn, where was I at? So I was saying stand your ground against adverse energies, which could be internal, meaning your own obsessions and addictions and distractions, and also energies that are projected onto you or to you, intimately or personally, generally, universally, however it comes through. You have the power to sustain your position of authority over your life, and if anything, to find yourself being regenerated beyond your carnal nature. It's like I can also see this as a regeneration of sorts, like born again energy, you know, where it may be something, you may die to some things that, you know, rightfully deserve to die. People, places, and things, meaning you dying to them, or them, expiring from your life and being released, transitioned, transformed, even yourself, so that you can be in a position to cross over into away from this turbulent energy into something that's more fortifying, and by the way of your faith to do so. So having come from, a position where, there was a great detriment to your life, or disturbance, or some great destruction, perhaps even 10 swords in your back, you know what I mean? That's a great demise to have endured and overcome, to be in a position to still stand strong enough to face opposition, to face your own demons, to face your mortality, and to overcome the fear of that mortality in a way that you can regenerate into a life that is more everlasting. What I always love about this card is that the other side is like gray area. It's like they're all colored, but when you look, every other part of the card is gray. So you don't know where the journey is taking you. You don't know what's ahead. But when you get there, you add value to that journey. You create it. You're the color. You're the creativity. You're, the consciousness that gets to create whatever lies ahead, as long as you're doing it in the intentions that are colorful, meaning pure and high vibrational, in truth, as the King of Swords here, which is also the other adverse of that, the energy I was speaking of. But let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna take that. Anything else? And that, let's see. The King of Swords was here too. I should have took his ass. We got the Queen of Swords and the Hangman. There's that stuck energy again. What's that energy saying? And then we got was that this that was out? I can't remember. I just pushed the card in. I think it was the Tower and the Queen of Pentacles under the deck. So, yeah. And the way I positioned them here, this goes back to that, it's like, it's like this is a very like light and dark, dark side, light side reading. Or what do I usually say? Like bright side, dark side reading. The dark side of this is that this is the source of the betrayal here, like being stuck by some external force of power. Like this guy ultimately is like the sacrifice in this spread at this time. It's like he's gotten left behind because he refused, as I'm seeing here, he was stubborn in making certain choices and decisions, refusing to resist his lower nature and to be transformed and reborn again, to cross over into some, new way of thinking, new, mindset. And now it's like this Queen of Swords is like the meeting of his fate, but it's not really a, you see, like with this, I hope this was a card and I'm just not pulling that, but I saw it anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But this is like the fate that he's meeting from his resistance to his own integrity. So like, I remember I said the King of Swords, I should have pulled him out. It was like he bypassed that exalted position of integrity and truth. The King of Swords wields the sword of truth, and he's honorable in his intentions, and he could be a little detached at times emotionally, but for the most part he tries to do things, and he does things in an upright way. Well, what this guy is very upside down, isn't he? And when you have the King of Swords and the King of in the Queen of Swords, sometimes people refer to them as the divorcees or divorcees, like they were a couple that were once on the same page, on the same accord, but in some way, shape, or form have disconnected. So at some point in time, there was an alignment with a feminine force that didn't, and here we go, here's the couple right here, wow, that was, I'm going to just go on spirit and say the obsession or objection, the objective was to be prosperous, you know? And because of this alignment in the demonic sense, there were things that he agreed to do that were out of alignment with his organic nature. But the temptation to prosper, you know, in a carnal way, in a material way, was greater than his ability to withstand the wiles of the devil to do so, ultimately. And this connection that was forged for prosperity's sake and for creativity's sake, ultimately is what is binding at this point, you know, where now he's like kind of hanging upside down, waiting for some release one way or another, maybe, God forbid, you know what I mean? Like actually praying in a release for his soul because it's so agonized by the ways in which he deceived himself for the purposes of prosperity that wasn't lasting ultimately, because we know whatever the devil is offering is never real. It's never what it looks like or it seems to be or what you thought it was going to be. It never quite repays the return that you had in mind. Like you will get what you're looking for, but at a great cost and with some like fine print, you know what I mean? Like some hidden terms that you didn't really think about, and before you know it, you pretty much have sold your soul or sacrificed yourself, and you didn't even really know that you were a part of the deal. You know what I mean? Like the adverse energy can make you, your lower nature in general can, like I said, you can portray yourself to think that you're doing something, and you know, and it's protected in a certain way because of, I don't even know. There's so many ways people can think that diabolical plans and plots can work out in their favor, but it's all illusionary. You know, you can think that you're above death, above destruction. You know, you're so smart. That's what the thing is with the King of Swords. You can think that you're so smart and so genius that your plan is foolproof, but in the earth, you know, just the energy that we submit to in this realm, it doesn't matter what, you know, how genius your plan is. Ultimately, the vibration is that what you sow, you reap. So if it's something that's being expelled one way or another, you're still going to be the beneficiary of that energy one way or another. And this is the energy here returning, where there was a lot of there was something expelled by way of the pursuit of prosperity, and in collaboration in some, you know, lower vibrational contract or commitment that ultimately has reached its expiration first and foremost, and now has, you know, really become more of a burden to those that are attached to it. You know, there's this energy here, the Queen of Swords, that appears to be sitting in an upright position of authority, but she's still suppressed by this demonic force herself, because at least with the Hangman, you can imply that at least this energy is looking for enlightenment or craving it, open to it at least, or just so stuck, you know, that it, you know, it's surrendered to it in some way, shape, or form. But this energy here gives me that there's still an insistence on the persistence of darkness. So kind of connected to my last reading, get out. Get out, as best you can. You're not really a hangman. We say it's in, a stuck position or waiting for enlightenment or stagnant or whatever the case may be. But at any given time, you could get down from that tree. You do not have to sacrifice yourself for anyone's sake, at all. There's no call for that in the spirit. Surrender, yes, but what are we surrendering to? Truth. That's the enlightenment that you're waiting on. And usually you already know the truth. It's just a matter of you having the courage to, again, submit to it, surrender to it, and follow that path. That's the so-called hard part, but knowing is innate. We always know. And there's the queen that I'm pulling him out. Yep, and look at this. Look at this and look at this. We know. You know the truth. You know what is upright and what is not. You know the things that lead to death. Even the things that, that are satisfying and gratifying for the time being. You know what is truly good for you because you know the toll that it takes on your spirit man or even your physical body. You know what I mean? When we're overindulging and doing too much or in spaces and places that aren't in agreement with our spirit, you can see the evidence of that in your natural life. You can see when there are things that are literally robbing, killing, stealing, destroying your energy, and not in the vibration of healing, not making you whole, not leading you to your North Star or your destiny. The things that are obstructing your path. So what are you going to do about it is always the question. So let's just get a couple more. I was trying to do a pyramid here, but it's a little lopsided. This should kind of be here and this should be here. That's okay. Maybe get like 2 more spirit, then it's kind of a pyramid, just a little bit distorted, which makes sense because this energy is like a pyramid that's distorted. Maybe a pyramid scheme, perhaps going wrong. Yep, that's exactly what I'm hearing. Let me get a sip of my tea on that. Yep, a pyramid scheme going wrong where you invested in some get-rich-quick scheme that ultimately not only didn't pan out to be what it was promised to be, but it also didn't really favor those. Yeah, and this is still at the bottom of the deck. Lie, kill, steal, destroy energy. That's what this is. And this is the Page of Wands, which is potential. It could be a new opportunity, but what it actually is that scheme coming back down to ground zero or to 1. And I would say that for the Hangman, this position here, although it's a great fall from grace by way of the King of Swords and even eventually the Queen of Swords too, if she's still in that vibration. She's just willing to be used diabolically now to be in this energy, so she's still of value. But the Hangman gives hope because it speaks that there's some change of heart, some change of mind, some impression of grace that's still made on the heart of this person to want to just stop in his tracks and think of a better way. Even if it's still to serve self or get self out of danger, out of harm's way, it's still not going to continue to perpetuate the diabolical, plan as it was. And maybe it just can't, I don't know. But it all comes back down to ground zero or back down to 1. And this is an opportunity to start fresh, start new, to create a new cycle of life, to follow a new path. Even if it might feel like starting over, it's still better than, continuing unto your ultimate demise. 1 is better than none. 1 life is better than no life. Yeah, on the count of Sorry, this tea is just so good. On account of poor investments, you know. If you lose it all, there's still hope to gain it all back or gain some of it back if you're willing to plant seed into good soil. Can we get one more? Or is that where we stop for this? I just would feel good if we could get one more. Finish with the last two. There we go. Okay. And this, yeah, and this is like past life relationships or connections or commitments. So this could have been friends or family that were in collaboration by way of this, you know, this situation right here, this dark union of sorts that were in commitment. You know, this, it gives me like karmic, like a past life karmic connection revisited, you know, especially with the devil card here, which is clearly a couple that's, you know, bound together. And maybe this is the closing, yeah, like closing of that cycle so that you don't repeat this in another life again. If you get another life, if you get another chance, or even just an opportunity in this life, this is the time for you to stop this energy in its tracks, transmute it, so that you're not perpetuating that potential for that demonic potential anymore. You know, because sometimes when the Six of Cups comes up, especially in a way that has been most prominent, like I've tried to kind of bring it back to the light, but when the Six of Cups comes up in this regard, in this energy, it could be relationships that have expired in their value, meaning it might be something that you keep playing out. Toxic cycles, toxic relationships, toxic bonds, like you keep attracting that same energy to you over and over again because you haven't healed. You haven't done the work to, you know, to align with your inner light, you know, your inner guidance. My tea bag, I read it in the last message, says your inner self is your inner guide. You're not listening to that light and that truth that is constant within you. You're allowing external forces to talk to you. You're allowing external and even diabolical influences to guide your way instead of being guided by your divine alignment, which is a very, you know, solitary space to be. It's between you and whatever force you submit to. And it's not anything that you can see, you know? So a lot of times when we are not surrendering and submitting to this inner light and this journey, which again is a solitary one, you know, sometimes makes you feel like when you go on a spiritual journey or some spiritual awakening, you do sometimes feel like a page of wands starting back at square one. I hope you can see down here, starting back at square one, like a child almost, you know, but it's more gratifying from that point of view than to continue on perpetuating this cycle of destruction and, you know, limitation and possession and obsession and, you know, those things. If you can find somebody to be in the darkness with you, it's much harder for you to see your way out because you have company there. Misery loves company, right? As we say. But when you find your way into the light, sometimes it is a self-sacrificial feeling because you feel out on a limb. You feel like you're on the fray of society. You feel like you don't fit in. You feel like, you know, it's you against the world, or at least you against everybody else in your life. You know, you feel like you're dying when you're having a spiritual awakening. You almost wonder, will you survive this experience? But on the other end, and this in the highest vibration, is you now attracting energies towards you that are going to be fortifying, that are fruitful. You know, these cups have white flowers that are pure. You know, the flowers even look like stars that are celestial, that have universal essence. You know, it allows you to, you know, return yourself back to your divine nature. And because you have Lover's card in the octave of the Devil card, you're attracting commitments and connections and contracts and creativity and community and relationships and friendships and, you know, even just strangers that are on that vibration. Your light is attracting that. So that's what you begin to perpetuate, and that's what you begin to produce. Star power in the earth, not BS. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what other way to say it, but you want to be producing life, not death, ultimately. So yeah, this producing burden, you know, because this is also that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna put that up here, even though I could have put it down low, but I'm gonna put that up here because this is symbolizing the end of a burdensome cycle. So you can either choose to walk in the octave of truth, you know, which would put an end to these swords in your back, you portraying yourself and being in the vibration where others can betray you, to being in this vibration here where the only burdens that you carry are the ones that you volunteer to. You know, now there are things that we subscribe to take responsibility for, and sometimes the load may seem a bit heavy, you know, the things that we submit ourselves to or connect ourselves to. But this card implies that it's the end of carrying burdens that are not yours to bear. That means that you have the discernment and the self-awareness to know what is your responsibility and what you take accountability for, what is, you know, yours to release. So that means, again, that you're not carrying generational cycles and curses, even worse, on your back. It's not, you don't carry that energy and that vibration because it's what's always been done, or because you don't know no better, because you actually do know better as the King of Swords and even as the Queen of Swords. You know best, as a matter of fact, the way of truth. So you're not stuck in that cycle, like that muscle memory of, you know, of limitation, just on the fact that it's what you've always been what you've always been exposed to and what you've experienced to have a return in. Sometimes, you know, it's a bit daunting to take a new road, and you know, this is the octave of that with the Page of Wands back down to 1, and see a new way to be and to a new way to go about life and see your worthiness in a whole new perspective. But what looks like a lighter load, this Page of Wands or this 10? It's time to put the burdens down, lay them to rest, and start this. Even if it's just a start today, that's one step, you know, ahead in the right direction, as opposed to being 10 steps behind your ultimate liberation and freedom, you know, and ultimately sacrificing your vitality for the sake of what? Can you even say? Well, the things that we burden ourselves with, I think the biggest question that we need to ask ourselves is why? Why am I doing this? Why am I with these people? Why do I feel obligated to go to these places? Why do I feel like I have to or need to do these things? You'll start picking off these wands one by one and laying them down when you start to realize that there's really no logical reason to those, there's really no logical answer to those questions. Usually just on account of either because I always have, or because someone else, something else is expecting me to. Okay? So definitely ask the why questions today, and then allow yourself to be illuminated in this position here, hangman position, as to how you get to move forward with that new intel in spirit and in truth, following your inner guidance and your inner light all the way. All right? And that's it for that. Until next time, peace.